All right. So again, thank you for being with us. Today, I have written down a couple things. The folks online, let me explain. The folks here, when I got up here, they demanded that I speak about certain things. So if you don't like the talk today, they've asked me to talk about grace, divine love, consciousness, uncertainty, and truth. Okay. So we'll focus on a topic we'll call, be careful what you ask for. And that's not just related to the requests. It's really important. Remember this great statement, ask and you shall receive. And this has become a popular new age thing too, Why? Because I want stuff. So they started making it this popular thing in the New Thought movement, the manifestation theories, all these abundance books and workshops. Ask and you shall receive. It's amazing that they conveniently slice out a quote from Jesus and they're not really into him much, But ask and Jesus said, ask and you shall receive. That's not actually all the statement, but let's get to that for just a sec. Ask, be careful what you ask for, but ask and you shall receive is true. But if you understand consciousness, try this on for size. Ask and you are receiving. And you're always receiving exactly what you asked for already. I don't mean just verbally asked for. I mean, if I believe I'm a needy person, and that's it. It'll happen. Ask and you shall receive doesn't just mean ask what you want and you get it. It's also own that what you already have is what you already asked for. No, I don't like that. I want the ask and I get what I want. You cannot get what you want if you don't own that you already got what you asked for. See, nobody wants to hear that half because it's called responsibility. No, I don't have stuff because other people. That's what they want to believe. But we just be careful what you ask for because with this, I want to create new things in my life. Name it, and I guarantee you there's a list of things you don't want to know about that you're going to have to walk through to get there. What would you like? I can ask an audience. Oh, I would like to be ascended into the fifth dimension. Great. That means everything you don't like about the third dimension is on its way. Bam, 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 bam. And all the complaining you're going to do is going to keep you from being fifth dimensional. This is how this works. You don't just get, you become. And humans don't like to hear that because they live in a third dimensional, dualistic world, haves and have-nots. How do I become a have? By taking from those who do have. You'll be some false version of Robin Hood. You're just a hood. Stealing from people. Whether it's energetic, psychic stealing. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's good wife, whatever else, is a good statement because it means. Now you heard it as, thou shalt not. No. Covet thy neighbor's goods. That's the way we saw it in the movies. It was really this. The God that you heard, booming. John Huston, his voice in the Bible stories. It wasn't that. That's the way those people were, so that's the way they heard it. If this would have been in some other area, Miami, or what, it might have been, hey, I don't recommend coveting because it's kind of silly. Could have been somebody in Nebraska channeling God. It wouldn't have been, thou shalt not. It could have been, hey, this is God. Listen, I wouldn't recommend that coveting because that's kind of silly. Why would you need to covet when you can just create it? As soon as you want something, it means you're incapable of having it. That's what it was saying. But they weren't real casual, the people living in that time and where they lived and in the challenges they had. But that's what it can be. You and I have a loving God that wants us to have only good things. One of you asked about what's truth. And the other one was uncertainty. Those are great opposites in a way. Because if you know the truth, you won't struggle with adversities, and uncertainties. So what is the truth? The truth isn't just the Bible or some other holy book that's the written truth. The truth, before there were books, I am. Meaning you are. Before books, before teachings, I am. I am what? Made in God's image. So what is the truth? That I am a part of God. And I am very holy. Completely deserving of God and all that God is. A great metaphor is God is a king, let's say for a sec. King, queen, God. I am a prince, princess. And the king, queen gave me a credit card and said, you can have anything you want. Enjoy yourself. And look at us. Oh my God. I lost my credit card, man. What do I do? Stop talking. Remember the consciousness. Even if you lost your credit card, which you're bound to do if you're a human, because humans like to think limitation. So take that person and go, hi, remember me? Child of God. If you own it, people will sense it. They'll give you a better deal on things because they sense you're a holy child of God. Some, the most disturbed of them, won't like you. They will sense, holy child of God, huh? You know what that makes me feel? If you're a holy child of, I don't like that because I forgot who I am. So you being here all holy bothers me. And I'm going to rape you. I'm going to molest you. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to spit on you. I'm going to gossip about you because I'm just irritated. That's how I'm going to be. I'm just an irritable person because I forgot who I am. And I think I'll take it out on you. How dare you have a sense of knowing who you are, even though some of us don't even know that we know. But when you know that you have love, when you know you have good intentions, this world is going to target you because the world is too much overtaken by the ego. And the ego is the very concept of not being holy. It's a false concept, but it's one that it decided, I'm going to create myself as unholiness. And I'm going to make you think that it's your choice and that you are me and I'm you. So you're unholy. So there's the I am of God and the I am not of the ego. Every time you can truly say I am, you're stating the I am of God. Don't say I am of God if you're going to be a rude person. If you're going to be from a state of love, peace, joy, abundance, happiness, deservability, holiness, then you're righteous to say I am. The Herods and the Pilates of the world that said, Jesus, who do you think you are? I've heard that you claim to be a child of God. Is that true? I am. It's amazing. It's not like he's going, well, technically we're kind of... No, he's I am. And they're like, kill him. Somebody quickly kill him. This is what they did. What do you do? To look at him and say, oh man, he's dangerous. Only to their egos. The I am in those individuals felt something. Pilate's wife said, honey, to Pilate, back off and have nothing to do with this. He's holy, I can tell. Pilate's like, oh God, I'm going to lose my job. He's thinking the left brain, she's like, the right brain. She's like, oh dude, can you feel that? It's amazing. He's like, oh, a headache, split mind, And Herod completely, enmeshed in his ego. Get rid of this guy. That's just like for you and me. Parents that get it and parents that don't. Partners that get it, friends that get it, and those that don't. Colleagues, bosses. Your goodness is supposed to feel good to people. I remember I said, I think it was last week or the week before, Robert was doing our sacred reading, one of our sacred readers, and he was doing our reading. And, I stood there like I do. I stand at the side and they do the sacred reading, which they pick. I love that. I love to see our chaplains empowered and our sacred readers. They intuit, and we ask them to. It's in their little contract as sacred readers. We want you to intuit what the right reading is for the day. This is no gratuitous, I think I'll do, the next one in the book that the church somewhere gives us. No, I want you guys to tune in, I tell them. You sense a great quote, So he was reading it and I was telling you guys, I just stand there and I was just, loving him really deep. Like, wow, so much love for this person. It had nothing to do with the person. It had to do with, first and foremost, he was getting into his center in the best way he is, right? But it's also because I chose to see holiness today. I could have stood there and went, he's got the wrong color socks on. You can sit around and pick at people, and then that's what you're going to get back. Watch what you ask for, but you're already getting what you asked for. People say, I would have such a great day if it weren't for you. You have the right, which I wouldn't recommend actually having these conversations, but technically, you'd have the right to say, and why did you pick me? I would be happy if it weren't for you, but why am I in your life? I don't know. God must have made a mistake. Really? You think that's going to fly? I'm in your life because there's something you don't like, and I played that for you today, which is why in certain prayers you say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. That brief prayer that often is used. Because you're realizing, oops, that's what it means. I'm sorry, please forgive me. In the Ho'oponopono prayer, it really just means oops. And why are you saying oops? Because I'm perceiving flaw in you. When you walk in on crutches, I can sit over here and notice it, and I can just do a quick prayer. Oops. What does oops mean? If a guy comes in on crutches, it means you believe you're a limited being who somehow got injured, and I must have collaborated with that decision because it takes two or more to manifest anything. And I must have been one of the collaborators because I noticed you, I recognized you. I somehow co-created an economic problem in the world. I somehow co-created the guy on crutches, and I co-created that beautiful smile and that beautiful child. I am playing a part in all creation. If you don't get that, why bother asking for anything at all? Why ask for God to give you anything? Apparently you're a victim and you're hopeless and helpless. We got to get this, right? We've got to get this. One of you's asked about uncertainty. Uncertainty about what? The uncertainty, if you have them, self-doubts and uncertainties, pause when you have them. Don't hide them. Oh, there it is again. I'm having one of those uncertainties. Who's having the uncertainty? God? Because there's only two voices you got talking. God and not. And there's nothing but God. So you're hearing God and wind. Just ghost sounds of ghosts in the wind, and they're not there. They're just the ego pretending to be. So what happens with evil and such is if I'm off, just like if I went somewhere, watched a horror movie. Isn't that weird how now at night the wind blowing through the trees is something else? Why? Because I'm off. I'm off. Take responsibility. How about just not having that happen as much? How about not letting people, things, or events, and myself, let myself steer off center so much? Because when I do, I'm going to hear things that are the winds blowing, and I'm fabricating them. And the other people in the world that are being hurtful and harmful to you, they're hearing those same winds that are making them feel bad. What they got to do is take it out on you so that they can fabricate not feeling as bad as they did. It's like the old story, two people running from a bear, and we've got to run. Well, I don't have to be faster than a bear. I only have to be faster than you. And that's the way this world works. Look, one of us is going to suffer here, and let me check in. No, not me. I mean, this is how people do this. And you think that we're so loving, how quickly people throw each other under the bus, right? How they throw each other, right? It's just amazing. I'm your best friend. No, wait, muscle tested. No, you're done. You're the one who's going to lose out. One of us is going to date that guy. And I'm testing him. God wants it to be me. It's an interesting thing how quickly girlfriends will throw each other, the guys, whatever, business deals. Who says I'm going into a business deal and, this is a sure thing and it's going to, come out to a lot of money. And I'm sensing I should let that person have that. That's not generally how it's done. I was an odd character, not just now. even when I was growing up. I was an odd character. If I was trying for a job, the very few times I tried for a job, when I was trying for a job and I saw other people wanting the job, I was like, they should have it. Instead of going, how do I get this? My family had a way to get me one job in particular, and it was a job a lot of people wanted, but they had connections. So they saw to it that I was going to go and apply for this job. So I thought, I'm just going to apply, and I was going to probably answer a few questions. I showed up, and it was an auditorium filled with the people wanting that job. Swear to God. And I went in there, and I'm just like, I was a kid, man, 18 or whatever. And I went in this auditorium, and I sat there and went, these people want this job. They need it and want this job. Look at them all. They're only going to pick like 1, 2 out of hundreds. And I was going to get the job because my family had connections. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And we did a questionnaire. Swear to God, we did a questionnaire. Let's say it had 50 questions, which was going to take the applicants of, let's say there were 200, down to, whatever, let's say down to 30 possible, and so on and so on. It was already arranged that I was getting the job. So they had these questions. I'm not kidding you. There was one question. I mean, I screwed up all the questions. But one of them was, which is a lubricant, grease or glue? I put glue. I know it's not glue. Some part of me was saying, you don't really want to be here. You don't really want to be here. You don't really. And you know what? I got a call from the president of the union of this entire organization. Calls me in his office. He sat there with an eraser and changed my answers because I was supposed to get this job according to strings being pulled. I could not do it. I got kicked out of my house over it. Underage even. And I got kicked out of my house over it. But I couldn't. I can't take something in my life. I've always believed not to take something someone else wants more. That I'm going to be fine. So be careful what you ask for because your head might tell you you need things that your heart knows you don't need. But you got to listen to the heart more. And the heart is scary to listen to. Be careful what you ask for. Even if what you're asking is to listen to your heart. Be careful. I'm warning you. The heart might tell you things that are scary, such as, well, I'm married and my partner is thinking about another person and, they're kind of, whatever, interested in someone else. I'm the type that's like, go. I'm not going to fight for this. It's like, it's okay. It's no big deal. Or they're open, to certain kinds of relations. It's like no big deal to me. There's nothing in this world, nothing in this entire third dimensional universe, I swear to you, that is greater than you. I don't care how much, color it has, the size of it, the wealth of it, nothing. We created the universe. How did we start believing it, therefore, has power over us? It doesn't make sense. I mean, my God, if a polar bear, mommy, gave birth to a baby, and then somehow the baby dictated everything, it would die instantly because the baby polar bear needs to be taught by the mother what to do to survive. If the mother suddenly said, well, you take it. It doesn't make sense. How did we become God's goddesses, create a universe and go, I'm just a victim of everything? Look, there's germs floating in this room. And oh my God, they can kill me. Nothing can kill you. You can't die. Oh no, you're not watching the stations I'm watching. One time I was sitting with somebody a germaphobe, absolute. They were afraid of everything. And one time we were at a restaurant. I won't name the restaurant, but it wasn't a very sterile environment. But we were at a restaurant after a workshop. There was probably 4 of us that went and sat down, and all that. And we're talking and cover the cup and the whole germaphobe thing. And, I just have such an odd mind, which I easily admit. I have a very odd. So this person, instead of going, enabling them, oh, yeah, you really should watch out because you know how many germs per square inch in the universe are trying to get you? I'm not going to play that game, but I'm also not going to shame them. I'm just watching and noticing how afraid. Good reason to be afraid. Totally screwed up childhood and family and all that. But this whole thing was going on. And I just noticed it. And I said, is everything okay? Yeah, but just look. I mean, they need to come and wipe the tables. And I just went. And I licked the table. God knows. Any food greases were nothing compared to the stuff they used to clean the tables. Right? But this is the way my mind worked. It was. And you know what? And this person, on more than one occasion after, told me it totally changed their whole vibe about that. And not just because I proved such and such, but that I cared enough. Do you understand? I cared enough to risk even myself in that moment. Because my attitude is, this person is living in terror. I can try to talk them out of being in terror. I'm pretty sure somebody else must have tried that. And it didn't work. So sometimes I just do silly things like, let's just get to the point. And inside there's a part going, ah! I'm sure there must have been a part, but for the most part, the voice I chose to listen to was, it doesn't matter. Jesus used this phrase, if somebody asks for your coat, give them your shirt as well. And partly what he was saying was, and he clarifies in A Course in Miracles too, show people that it doesn't matter. Show people that things don't have the power they thought it did. Give them a different opportunity. I heard in a restaurant once a girl talking, a waitress talking with another about money, and stresses and where they're at financially. Now, when I go and eat, I'm $5 and I'm done. I don't eat, a bunch of courses of food. There's nothing I really like food-wise. It's the same thing. It's always butter and bread of some kind. So whether it's a cinnamon roll or it's always just bread, butter, and cheese. Those three things primarily. So in different, a quesadilla, please, or you can change the name of it, but it's always the same thing. And so I'm pretty easily satisfied when it comes to food. So I go and I gave $50 tip, $50 for my $5 meal. Now the girl's going, oh no, sorry, you left it. I said, it's for you. Oh, I can't take this. I said the words, it's only money. And I did that for a reason, just like the licking the table. I was making a point. So we can learn to live our lives where it's like, I have a God credit card. I'm not saying to ever risk if you have no money, I'm not telling you to spend money you don't have. Or if you have an immune disorder, to lick a table at a gross restaurant. I'm not telling you to do things you can't afford. But I am telling you this. You'll be amazed when you realize how much you can afford. You'll be amazed to realize I've only got $10 to my name. And that person needs 5 of it. Now, if you sit there and go, oh my God, oh, I don't think I can, I wouldn't do it. But when you have a moment of, wow, I can afford this. It's okay. Here's an extra 5. Oh, no, it's okay. When you get that it's okay, that's when it will feed your soul. If you're afraid of it, be careful what you ask for. Don't make yourself more giving and generous than you can afford to be. Now, some people will swear by that. And, oh, that's how I learned to be prosperous. I risked and it paid off. That's because there's nobody writing books about the times it didn't. Okay? So trust me on this. Only go as far as your comfort zone and maybe just a little beyond. That way, there's no risk of harm to you. God wants you to be happy. God doesn't want you to jump off a cliff and say, catch me. I mean, you'll hit the bottom. You'll ghost yourself to the other side, and say, oh, what happened? What do you think happened? You jumped off a cliff and said, catch me. Well, I thought God said, to trust. And well, yeah. And so you're still in the bosom of God. But you're just going to have to reincarnate now and live at lower altitudes. You know, like they're not stupid. They get, you're the one that needs the lessons. We know that you're always going to be in the heart of God and you're protected. But as a human, it was foolish of you to jump and risk your mortality. You could have been doing the work there on earth. So always be careful what you ask for. And I mean this on every level you can imagine. On prosperity issues and so on and so on. What is it you want? But know there's a payment for it. Jesus said there's a thing called the pearl of great price that is so valuable you'll pay anything for it. There's a Buddhist story of, I want to know God. How badly do you want to know God? Anybody can say that. I want to know God. So this one student of life goes to his teacher, his guru, to a guru, and I want you to teach me. I want God. I want to go to heaven. I want God. I want to get there. I want nirvana or whatever. He said, all right, this is so exciting. I'm going to get enlightened. And so he took him down to the water for baptism kind of thing. And he took him and he held him underwater. And the disciple, is underwater going, oh, this is amazing. I'm just one with the water. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to need to breathe soon. So, it's a test of that. Okay, I'm going to be a master who's knowing how to hold the breath even more. And you wait and you wait. Then pretty soon it's like, you're wanting some air and you're wanting some air. And they're still holding you under. Now you're trying to get up because you're needing air badly and they won't let you up. Oh my, now it's a struggle. And you're fighting to get up for air and hold them under. See, that's just like licking the table. It's like doing something weird for your disciple, holding him on, and then at the very last second, he comes out of the water. And the teacher just said, when you want God that badly, you'll find him. Be careful what you ask for. You're going to make all kinds of beautiful claims from your human self, but God, people do this all the time. The greatest statement I ever heard from a client was, I want healing on issue A, B, and C. And I said, okay, how badly do you want that? They said, Michael, whatever it takes. That was one of the coolest things I ever heard, because that should be what it's like. Whatever it takes. In life, whatever it takes. I want to grow and trust people. Are you ready to do whatever it takes? I want to know what it's like to have more patience. Okay, let me try again. Be careful what you ask for. One of you asked about consciousness and just in general. Your consciousness cannot be extracted from your environment. Your environment is your consciousness. Now some people are like, okay, I'm changing channels right now. I don't like hearing this at all. You are not, there is no separation. This is me. The entire universe. But that's a bit much for somebody's mind. So start with your household. Oh my God, the household, everything's so out of control. I've got, cocaine on the kitchen counter, and I've got all kinds of liquor in the fridge, and my partner's, doing naughty things and so on and so on. This is me. If I die today and go to the other side, there aren't beings that go, hey, look everyone, oh, good, look who arrived. The innocent, amazing, sweet victim. They're going to be like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? Well, I didn't do it. I didn't put that in the fridge. I didn't put that on the counter. I wasn't. Yes, you're a co-creator. I don't know and believe that. Nope, can't be. No problem. We have just the next lifetime already set for people that think they're nothing but victims. It's just crazy. And people don't want to get this. People don't want to learn this and awaken, because it's inconvenient mostly to your ego. Because when you do that, your ego disappears. Self-worth and ego, they don't go hand in hand. As soon as you're choosing your true value, the ego is disempowered. Every time you choose it. Not one time and it's over, but you have to retire it and keep reminding it that it's retired and has no value here anymore. And it can talk, but it's not the voice you're listening to. And it's going, oh, and you should worry. And then, oh, love. This other voice is like, love. And you're like, I'm just not interested. You can't stop it from talking if you're in a body. You don't want to fight it. Resist not evil. means resist not your ego. Don't hate it. Don't fight it, because then there's an it. Just turn and listen to this one. The one that tells you your value. The one that can you have slavery when you have people listening to the right voice? It was never like God said, well, slavery's not a bad thing, I guess, it's okay. It never did that happen. Harming other human beings physically, the whole thou shalt not kill isn't just a command from God. It's what are you people thinking? Why would you kill if you're killing yourself? When you enslave people, do you realize it's only you that you're harming? It's true. Cut down all the trees, kill all the dolphin. Go ahead. It's you that you're killing. Disrespect a gender. You can't hate men and not be resenting your own masculine nature. You can't disrespect women and not be disrespecting your own feminine nature. Everything I see is me. It's all a reflection. And one of you asked about divine love. Wow. How can I be doing wrong and know anything about divine love? And that's what it means. I need do nothing. It doesn't mean do nothing. It means I need do nothing of my ego self. I'm going to start tuning in. Who am I really? Well, I want to believe that, like one of you asked about the word grace, I want to live a life of grace, peace, joy. Are your thoughts, words, and deeds demonstrating that that's what you want? Oh, yeah, once a day I have a happy thought. How badly do you want it? Remember the breathing underwater guy, how badly do you want it? Be careful what you ask for. You're better off saying, I would like a little bit of growth each day than to say, I'm ready for enlightenment. Even though that's the cool thing to do. I want enlightenment. Be careful, because everything that's not enlightened is going to show up. And then you're going to wonder how and why you're in such conflict and pain. Back to that uncertainty word. I'm magnifying my conflict in my life when I am conflicted inside. So again, conflict outside shows me that I'm conflicted inside. It's impossible for you to be conflicted and not see it. So I'm conflicted about relationship, about sex, about gender, about sexual preferences. I'm conflicted about what foods I eat. Oh my God, nowadays, especially, but it's like, oh my God, I wonder if the other people in this particular granola store know that I'm a meat eater. They can probably sense it because I'm such a bad person. That's what you're saying. If God is with me, what could be against me? That's how you should think. Licking that table. If God is with me, what could be against me? But do you realize you could have died? And if I did, I would have been dying doing good. You see, it's this. Are you really ready to step up and center and live the life you claim you want? Or is it just lip service? You're just talking it. If you're talking it and you realize that, just own it. And then when you talk about it, say, yeah, I love talking it. I love talking spirituality. See, you didn't create conflict. When you own, I love talking spirituality, I'm just not great at living it, you actually aren't creating much of a lesson coming to you because you're owning, I'm a so-so person. On a 0 to 10, I'm a 4 of enlightenment. You're safe. You're safe. You're just going to be in a screwed up 4 world, 2 world or 3 world. You're safe. Start asking for an 8, acting like a 4, and you're in trouble. That's a lot of what this is all coming back to in summary. Ask for more than your consciousness is ready for, and good things are going to happen. Spirit's going to say, oh, honey, we heard you want to be an 8 today. Let us help you. We're going to give you all the lessons related to getting up to an 8. And what are you doing? Oh, God, how, why? God's going to be like, what? What do you mean? We have orders in triplicate here. You asked for it on this date, and enlightenment and peace and happiness and look, patience. What were you thinking? So there's evidence that you asked for a better life. I want a really wonderful partner. Then you can't settle for less than that. You can't go, I'm really involved with a jerk right now, but someday I know that there's a great person that's coming for me and to be in my life. Not while you still don't say no to the jerk. Because the jerk is you allowing yourself hurtfulness. And if you're the same, not waking up to your value, why would the universe go, hey, listen, we're looking for undervaluable people. We're looking for low self-worth people because we have a Christy person waiting for them. It doesn't make sense. Please, in my irreverent way that I'm doing all this as usual, please hear the simplicity in it. You can only see and have in your life that which is you. So where are your beliefs? Well, I don't agree with that because I have terrible things happen in my life and I'm a good person. I don't doubt that you're a good person. But if you haven't always been perfect and holy, you still carry with you some of those old programs and they still manifest as not so nice things. Is that making sense? So I still have to clear some of that. Even if I think I'm really, really good person, I actually feel like I'm a pretty decent person. But I still have gone through the dark night of the soul. And during it, I was asking the same question. How could this be happening? Job in the Bible did that. A really stellarly good person. Living the life and being loving and being forgiving and teaching the way of God and eating just right. Do all the things. Keeping the commandments, all that he should have been doing. And his life went to hell in a handbasket. And he did what all of us do. How? Why? What did I miss? And if I was living the life, why didn't I only see good coming from good? And do you know at the end of that multi-chaptered book, I mean, it's kind of ironic that it should be such a large book. It's only a large book in the Bible because it takes that long for people to learn their lessons. So by the time it gets to the end, do you know what God says to Job? God, could I ask you, now that we're back to communing, how did this happen? What did God tell Job? Job says, I've been a good person. And then here comes the answer. God says, oh, be careful what you ask for, Job. Listen, you're telling me what a good person you've been, and you're wondering how your life went to hell here. He says, but you only know Job as long as you've been Job. And what does that mean? He's saying, and I'm paraphrasing, dude, Job, you only remember this lifetime. Before Job was Job, let me show you some video footage. Okay? It's going to be highly edited and censored because it isn't good. You've killed. You've slept with everybody. You lived 1,000 lifetimes, and in each lifetime you average 10 people. That's a lot of people. 10,000. Cosmic hope. You've been naughty. You've murdered. You fought in war. You were merciless to enemies. You enslaved. You did all kinds of things. Are we supposed to take that on as a burden to hurt us? No. What we need to do is go, never again. It's all we have to do, because that means I got it. I learned. It's all we need. The Bible tells us about the word regret. The only thing you ever really need to do is apologize and make amends. Amends meaning, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done. And that's good. Now, that doesn't mean that people should sit around telling you what the amends should be, per se. Mind you, if they say, would you be willing to do such and such? If it's a child of yours and you swatted them on the bum and they got upset and they said, I would like you to not do that, and you felt bad, you can say, I won't do that again, and not do it. There could be a term you use and people say, oh, that term offends me. Then you don't do it. That's what amends means. They can ask, but it should not cause harm or grievance to anybody to try to make that amends with you. So all we need to do is go, I got it. It's not like God needs to somehow punish you. It's God's like, listen, grace means you're accepting your true identity. Grace isn't, fine, I, the Lord, have decided to bestow upon you grace. That's a king and a queen, and they were twisted like anybody else, kings and queens. That's just trippy human power stuff. I have decided, they would say we have decided, we, who's the we? You got a mouse in your pocket, lady? Like, who's the we? It's because they actually thought they were speaking on behalf of God and themselves. That's what that meant. We have decided to overlook. God doesn't do that. God says, I created holy, You pretended unholy. Grace is only you deciding to stop pretending that you're unholy and accept that you're holy. I had a miracle in grace and I saw angels and they're always there and you're always supposed to see them. It's just that you're too messed up to see it. The good news is get over yourself and that which is there is visible again. It isn't really that a rush of God's presence comes to bring you grace. Our gratitude needs to be not just the fact that God is the presence of grace, but that we decided to open up to our true self again today. The gratitude is really here because I'm the one that was in the way. How much should others be involved? They become inconsequential. More and more of us have learned in life and are learning. Others and talking about what others give and don't give and do and don't do for you, they're just mirroring our value or lack of value. Okay? I cannot justify their behaviors. They're hurtful and they're ego-based. But the more I go here, the less these are going to be in my life. Quite simply, as simple as saying no. No thanks. It doesn't have to be screaming and holding them down and proving something. Just, no, not interested. When you're clear enough, people get your message and the universe gets the message and mirrors. Hey, wow, look at you. You went from a 3 on a 10 scale to a 7. Woo, cool. All it does is mirror us. We don't like hearing that because it makes us feel bad and makes us feel guilty. But that's not why it's supposed to, the effect it's supposed to be giving it. It's supposed to be, wow, by taking responsibility, I can go to an 8 today and I will choose to do so. Oops, I have an anchor hooked. I'm trying to rise and there's an anchor. What should I do? Oh, I was going to try to be a nicer person, but there's an anchor. I don't know who put it there. That's not going to help. Oh, it's my mother again. It even has her name on the anchor. How is that helping you? Get the anchor. Wow. Good one. That one slipped under the radar. Mom had one extra hook there. Past life had an extra hook. Cut the cord and ascend. How? Love, forgiveness, and self-worth. Let's take a few centering breaths, folks. So grateful that even in a symbolic exhale, we can be saying, goodbye to things. So do that for a moment. In an exhale, let go of some tensions, any amount. With an exhale, let go of everything. Tensions in the neck, the back, or thoughts, worries. God, the constant, the mind, the brain, worrying, criticizing. Just today, no. Today, no thanks. How nice. Symbolic exhale, but it's not the breath that's doing it alone. The consciousness, intention to say, really? I get to say no? Yes. You don't have to go and fire everybody immediately from your life and give everybody notice they have 24 hours to get out of your life. No, just inside be at peace that you get to do it symbolically first. And the more that I truly believe in this, they will organically start falling away. Some are going to need paperwork. I don't care if it's paperwork or organically they fade. Either way, I'm going here. Goodbye. Say goodbye to certain obsessions and voices and addictions. Even if you're still struggling with some kind of an addiction, it's all right. Just say to yourself, this is what I'm still allowing today, but it's not my destiny. And the more I start focusing on that destiny, my new self, the more my life will start mirroring it. My new and only real self. And the flip side of the exhale, take a few, just the next minute, a few breaths of how nice I can inhale a new life. Symbolic, of course, it's just symbolic, but symbolic of everything. I have value. I truly believe in my value. Everybody has value. So I don't need to fight to save the dolphin or to stop racism or sexism. It's not going to be a reality in myself anymore. It doesn't make sense. Everybody is a holy child of God, and that's the world I'm heading for. When you get it, other people around you get it, and then we all start getting it through osmosis. Fight it, and there's an it that still exists. How about be it? Own it. Oh my God, how beautiful to see smiling faces on every age group, every race, every gender, everything. Everything. Send a smile from your heart to people that lived in the industrial age, in the 1600s, in the 500 BCs, to everybody equally. Send a smile of love from the heart to aliens that abduct and mess with people. Just tell them, no more. Not interested. Don't fight them. Not allowed. Not interested. Love and only love. Grace and only grace. And let it go to them unconditionally. They may take a second only to own it, and they might take 1,000 years. Stay out of that part of it. It's just given unconditionally. And last but not least, just even slightly, if not more, imagine how grateful people are when you've given them that. Imagine how grateful people are from all time, all dimensions. People struggling of every type, walk of life. And imagine how they feel that someone looked at them with the smile of grace. Someone looked at them and said, everything's going to be okay. Just like when you hear stories about people who saw angels in a surgery and they said, you're going to be fine. And they said, I felt so comforted. How do you know that some of those experiences that people have had when they saw beautiful beings of light telling them, reassuring them, honey, you're going to make it through this divorce. Sweetheart, you're going to make it through the child abuse. How do you know that some of those incidents are not them seeing you right now back in time? It is. Every miracle is an accumulation of all the good we've ever wished for people, including ourselves. It's not a linear thing with one being appearing to another. It's all of us and all the good. And so, so nice. So nice to be part of this. And how could this not come back upon me and my goodness too? How can this that I'm bringing to others not make a difference in my own life? So here comes my grace, my prosperity, my greater ease of life, my healthier boundaries. A last final breath of goodness. And so it is. Good, thank you. I hope I addressed most of the words you guys shared or requested, okay? All right, so blessings. Just relax and stretch out a bit. All right, thank you. Please stand for our closing prayer. In case it's not obvious, our closing prayer is along the lines of, it's so beautiful because it's like calling in the affirming the light of God surround us, the love of God enfolds us. But this isn't like hoping. This is affirm. This is the truth. And then we end it with God is, I am, we are. We are what? Everything we just said. This is the truth of God. And we get it. Who gets it? I get it. God gets it. I get it. We get it. It's really tying it together. All right. So thank you for helping to co-create this particular closing chant or prayer, whatever we want to call it. Affirmation. We know this to be true. The light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are. And that's absolutely true. Yes. And so it is perfect. God bless you all. Thank you for being with us. And please join us whenever you can. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye. Bye, guys online, too.